living in Zambia. So, yeah, when it comes to living in Zambia, there's different things that you kind of have to figure out. So, like, banking details, do you open up a bank account here? Do you not? Do you, where do you go for the doctor? Things like that. And so there's lots of variables that you can think through. And so I'll hope to answer just some of those questions. I'll start with actually doing some finance stuff, and then I'll kind of walk through some different options as well. So when it comes to financial kind of things, when I moved here, I kept my U.S. bank account, and since then I haven't opened up a bank account here in Zambia, just because I don't really think it's completely necessary. But one thing that I do have that I find really, really helpful here, and just ease of like paying for things like utilities or things like that, is most phone companies have some sort of mobile money that you can have like on your phone. And so I hadn't heard of this in the US, but it's similar enough to like Venmo or Gazelle, or some of those apps, PayPal, where you can just pay people through that. But here they call it mobile money, and it's just hooked up through your phone number here in Zambia. And so I have Airtel, so I just got Airtel money because it's free to keep an account and things like that. And I think for most people it is. But I found that, so with Airtel money, I withdraw, so how I get my money is I withdraw cash from an ATM, and that's how I budget for my month and how I spend my money, because I'm paid in my US account. And then what I do is I take that money and I can deposit it for free in my Airtel money account, and then I'm able to buy things like Zesco, so electricity for my house. I'm able to pay my water bill on that. And then if I need to send money to somebody, like let's say I have Beatrice, come over and help me, give me a pedicure or something like that, then I can pay her through Airtel money instead of using cash. And so I found that was easier, and the fees are much less to do Airtel money versus if you like try to open up your own traditional bank account or things like that. And so I have found that has made my life so much easier here versus depending on using my card, which you can't do a good chunk of the time, or always having cash on hand. So I really recommend setting yourself up with some sort of mobile money platform while you're here in Zambia, because it will help you out a lot. So I've really enjoyed having that. One thing that, people also get worried about is getting sick when they're abroad. And so when it comes to, insurance and things like that, there might be different recommendations that you receive, but I've really found that using the SES insurance company here in Zambia is way better to get a Zambian insurance policy like here, I think, through SES. I think it's a better deal than trying to have like travel insurance from the US, because the travel insurance I found was like too expensive for my budget, and then it also didn't cover like anything. It didn't do a lot for me, whereas the SES here, the insurance works very different here than in the US, and so the insurance here, it pays for everything up front until you reach a limit, and then you pay after that, which is the opposite in the US. You have to pay your deductible first in the US, and then the insurance kicks in. So I really found insurance here was a much better deal. But yeah, for going to a medical professional, there are really good medical professionals here in Lusaka. And so I go to a clinic that's just in Olympia, so it's really close to Roma, really close to my house, called Optimal. And there's a doctor from the U.S. He's actually from Minnesota. His name is Dr. Berkland, and he is the bomb. He's great. So I would highly recommend him if you ever get, sick or you need to go to a doctor or anything like that here. He is just awesome, and it feels like you're going to a doctor's office, back home in the U.S. It's really, really nice. And so I've really appreciated the care that I've gotten there. When it comes to getting sick, do be prepared for you to get a bit of stomach bugs, particularly more in the beginning, just as your body adjusts to the new bacteria, and things like that, just in water and in eating and things like that. I do remember I was pretty sick the first 3 months, I think, that I moved here. I had pretty frequent stomach issues and things like that. But after the first 3 months, I have been really healthy. I haven't really, even this second year of being here in Zambia, I don't think I've taken more than 1 or 2 sick days. So it's, it's got, your body adjusts pretty quickly and you're able to be okay after a while. And so, yeah, but it's all good. But yeah, here the medical care is good. Dr. Berglund, again, he's great. And so they have really good professionals here, or at UTH, which is the University Teaching Hospital that's here in Lusaka. And so, yeah, I've always felt taken care of while I was here. So it's good. When it comes to traveling, when you come to Lusaka, please do. Lusaka is a good middle place that you can use to jump off to go and travel around to a lot of different places. And so particularly around Zambia, like outside of Zambia, there's some really cool places that are relatively close distance that you can go and travel to. So Zanzibar is one really popular place. Tanzania is a really cool place that you can go and visit. Zimbabwe, South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, they're all really cool places that you can travel to from here in Zambia, and I would highly recommend those. But then also, even within Zambia, there's a lot of cool places that you don't find online. So when you originally search Zambia, when it comes to tourists, most people hear about Victoria Falls and Livingston, which, yes, go there. I think you have to do that. I went there and I did. I would recommend going there twice. Go there in rainy season when the falls are full, and then go there in dry season so you can do Devil's Pool. It's the bomb. It was so cool. But that's kind of more of like a touristy kind of area. So if you're looking for somewhere that's less touristy, there's lots of different outdoors experiences that you can do all around Zambia. So places like South Luangwa, Lower Zambezi, Lake Tivanga, things like that, Lake Kariba. There's lots of Kifue National Park. There's lots of places. Mutanando, I think, is another camping area that's in the northern provinces. But yeah, there's lots of places that you can go within Zambia that are really, really cool to see and visit if you really like being outdoors. But then also in Zimbabwe, most people just think about going to the Zimbabwe side down in Livingston, but there's also a lot more that you can see in Zimbabwe. I recently just traveled to Mutare, Zimbabwe, which is in the eastern highlands of the country, and it's really mountainous and really pretty in the Nyanga Mountains. Anyway, ask me about that. I'll give you lots of recommendations. It's the bomb. But yeah, make sure, that's the one thing I also kind of regret. I didn't really budget too much for traveling expenses, and I wish I would have done a little bit more, so that I could travel some more places. But relatively, I think things are actually a bit cheaper here if you plan it just right, or if you have a good group of people that you can travel with. You can travel pretty inexpensively, and you can go and see quite a bit of what's around. So it's really cool. I also, when it comes to how often you would want to leave Lusaka or something like that, definitely a personal preference. Some people have more of a travel bug than others. For me, I'm from Iowa, so I'm used to open spaces and cornfields, and things like that. And so after a while, I do start to go stir crazy of being in the city and cars and people and concrete, and things like that. And so for me, I usually try at least once a month to go on a day trip somewhere, whether I go, for a walk with my dog, or I go to a lodge that's on the outside of town, or that's in Lusaka but on the edge, so you're not in all of the wall fences and stuff. But every about 2 to 3 months, I try to do some sort of trip. So whether you go far, once I've gone to Zanzibar, and I've gone to Zimbabwe, or even if you do something within, I've gone to Lower Zambezi, I've gone to Livingston, things like that. I found those really helpful just to get out of Lusaka. But then you get to see the countryside of Zambia as well, because Zambia is pretty actually diverse in its geography, and so if you go down by the Zambezi River, there's bluffs, and it's kind of mountainous, and there's a river. You go out to the lakes and stuff like that. It's really cool, and so you can really see a lot of different stuff within the country. But then, when it comes to, just cultural differences and just kind of hard stuff and dealing with hard things, there are some things that if you yeah, struggle with punctuality, that you should be a bit mindful of. And so for me, I don't know, like other speech therapists, I'm kind of a type A. I really like to follow a schedule and things like that. I really had to adjust to like Africa timing. And so here things are events based. And so you don't go to things because, you know, it's like, okay, at 10 o'clock I'm going here, at 12 o'clock I'm going here. That's not how it works here. So here it's event based. And so you might say, okay, I'm going to see my dad today and go to the store. And however long it takes you to do those two things, that's how long it takes you. And so oftentimes, you know, it's very normal to be anywhere between 30 minutes to 2 hours delayed in some circumstances, particularly like big events like weddings or funerals, you know, or things like that. And so one thing that, yeah, if you're a really timely person, you just are going to have to get used to things happening on their own timing and being flexible with that. And then, yeah, that's, I think, yeah, the big thing that I had to kind of deal with culturally. But the one thing that I love, 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 love about the Zambian culture is just the intentionality in community and thriving on community. So community is a really, really big part of the cultural aspects here. And so you see artifacts of that in how you greet people and how you say hello. So like when you say hello, you just don't say hi, you say, hi, how are you? How have you been? How's the family? How are your kids? And so the introductions can take quite a while, and you have to do them. You can't just like skip over them. But I really appreciate having, it's even just a little token of, you know, just intentionality that I miss when I come back to the US. I'm like, oh, that person didn't say hi to me. I feel kind of sad. You know, I just love that. As well as just like how sharing people are. And so it's very easy, you know, people are really willing to help and they'll help you out in doing things. And a lot of it's kind of like, again, if you read the Africa Money Matters book, but yeah, it's like a deposit. So you might help out a person so that they can help you later on. And it's just a really lovely aspect, I think, of the culture here that I just love. I think it's really, really cool. So I love that. And then, yeah, some of the hardest things that it took me to adjust to when I moved here was just not being near my family. I'm a pretty big family gal, and so being away on holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving were really, really hard for me. But it's the ways that you kind of like compensate for that is just like making sure you have diligent plans for those times. And so making sure that, yeah, I take time to FaceTime my family, you know, while they're with the cousins and everybody else and things like that. But also, like, just make sure that you have fun things planned to do. So get your group of friends together, you know, while you're here in Lusaka and say, hey, let's have a Christmas dinner. Or, hey, let's go, you know, do this fun thing here on Thanksgiving, you know, or let's have a Thanksgiving dinner. And you can invite your Zambian friends over and show them what American Thanksgiving is like. Things like that. I think those were really, really helpful in just dealing with some of those hard times. And yeah, just remembering also, yeah, what you love about Zambia. And so when you have really stressful days or, you know, you feel like you need to unwind or there's things that you're just like, you're losing it, like, remember the things that helped you relax, like in your home country, and figure out how you can do those here. If you can't do them here, what's something else that's new that you can do in Zambia that you really love? And so when you have those stressful times or you're worried or, you know, things just seem like too much, find those things that you love about living here and do them because it reminds you that, yeah, this is where you're supposed to be and that, yeah, this place can be like home. And so those are really, really helpful. But also like make sure you do it in community. Don't stay by yourself too long because it can be very isolating, I think, being a foreigner in a new place. And so sometimes it can be, yeah, challenging of knowing like, oh, I just want to be myself. I don't want to do it, which it's okay. It's okay to take time to be by yourself and, yeah, just think through things, but it's also important as well to, yeah, engage the people and the friends that you have here, because that's what we're here for. We're here to support each other and make each other feel at home here in Zambia. So the very last thing, if I was ever scared, if I was, you know, what made me feel safe. And so one thing that I feel like when I think of that, theft is pretty common here. Just it's not like aggressive, or anything like that, but just, people might break in and steal something, or if you leave something in your car, somebody might steal it from your car. And so I have had a couple instances where I've had theft at my house. And so in those situations, number one thing that I did, just tell people about it, and then, just take reasonable precautions. So like lock your doors, shut your windows, things like that are within your control. Go ahead and do those. But I even did the thing of getting a dog because a dog helps me feel a little bit more safe here. Yeah, you just, talk to people and let them know, and it helps calm your fears a bit. But yeah, for the most part, your team here at Special Hope Network is here to support you, love you, and take care of you. And so we're in this together, and we're your community. And so if there's any point that you feel, unsafe or worried or anything like that, we're here to listen and to help and support. And so always feel free to reach out and tell us if you're experiencing anything like that. So